as it stands, we've seen two games in the Champions League this midweek. On Tuesday, we saw the game between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, and as you know, that is easily one of the biggest game of this midweek. And then on the other side, we also saw the game between Sporting CP and Arsenal. So let's quickly talk about the game. Like, this is going to be a very short one, and we'll start from the game between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. That is mostly the game that had everybody hooked from beginning till the end, because you know the record that Real Madrid have in isolation and Bayern Munich has in isolation. Bayern Munich currently has one of the best attacking set of players this season in the top 5 league in the footballing world. They have one of the best attack. Go and check their goal scoring record. Harry Kane, Luis Diaz, Olise. And then you talk about the likes of Musiala, who is just making a recovery from injury. Of course, we saw moments from him in yesterday's game. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he got about 15-20 minutes, and you could see his touches were there. Of course, he had a moment, he had an opportunity to score a goal, but he just couldn't get it on target. So that firepower is not a joke. We see what they are doing. I mean, the German league is not the best league in the world, but you see the brilliance they have. You see their journey in this Champions League, right from the league stage until this very moment in this quarterfinal stage of the Champions League. And then on the other side, you have Real Madrid. Currently, obviously, Real Madrid is not having their best season. They are not having their best season. They've had a couple of inconsistency here and there. But one thing you can never say, or one thing you can never do, is to overlook Real Madrid when Champions League is involved. Just think about it. When it comes to Champions League competition, Real Madrid is second to none. They are always the first. They are always at the top. Even if they are having a very weird season, even when they are not playing well, they still find a way to get a result. But in yesterday's game, we saw exactly what we came for. Before going into the game, the expectations was this is going to be a very attacking game. It is going to be a game where both sides will have several moments of attack. Did you watch the game? Did you see exactly what I saw? Because that was a very, very entertaining game. Now, despite being a home game for Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, they had a very serious performance, especially in the first half of the game. They were attacking, they were dominating. I mean, I think I'm allowed to use that word, dominating, despite the fact that we are talking about Real Madrid in this case. But they were completely dominated by Bayern Munich for a huge portion of that first half. Even in the second half, early into the game, remember what happened? Just before halftime, Bayern Munich got their goal. And to be fair, Bayern Munich finishing the first half with just one goal, it isn't how it was supposed to go. Because if you watch the way they performed, the loads of chances they got, they should be finishing the first half with more than a goal. They had a whole lot of chances, but they just couldn't finish those chances. Nonetheless, it is still due to the brilliance of the goalkeeping department, because on the side of Real Madrid, their goalkeeper, he was on serious job. But even on the side of Bayern Munich, because like I mentioned, while the first half was basically all about Bayern Munich, when you come into the second half, let's say the first 20 minutes of the second half, Bayern Munich were also on it. They were pressing, they were pushing hard. And of course, immediately the second half started, that was when they got their second goal of the game. But from the moment they scored the second goal till the maybe 70th minute, 60th minute, they should have gotten a lot more goals. Yet the goals didn't come. And at some point, you could notice that Real Madrid started getting into the game. They started creating a whole lot of chances. And see, after the game, Manuel Neuer was given Man of the Match award. In a situation like that, where Bayern Munich created a whole lot of chances, scored 2 goals, yet their goalkeeper picked up the man of the match award, it tells you a whole lot about the game, because Bayern Munich could have considered a lot more if not because of the brilliance of Manuel Neuer. So yesterday was a very interesting moment for him. We basically saw the Manuel Neuer that was in his prime. You know him in his prime. You know that he is a top goalkeeper. He is the one we saw yesterday, and he had a very fabulous performance. Now, the game ended with just 1 goal advantage for Bayern Munich, and I think that is likely the only thing that they wouldn't be proud about in that game. They did their job in attack. They created a whole lot of chances. Their defensive work, they had some moments where their defense were exploited, but you would always expect it to happen because you are playing against Real Madrid. There would always be that moment when they would have the upper hand, they would dominate your defense, and that is why the brilliance of Manuel Neuer in goal played a huge part in their performance too. But thinking about it, with how Bayern Munich performed, when they look back to this game, they would surely be looking at themselves saying, how did we play so well and still finished with just 1 goal advantage? Of course, a win is a win. That 1 goal advantage is a very good one, especially for an away game for them. But they deserved more. They would know that they had opportunities to score a lot more, but they just couldn't finish those chances. Now, on the side of Real Madrid, the fact that they were able to get 1 goal in, despite being outplayed for the vast majority of the game, it is always something they would look at and say, well, we've been here before. We've done something like this before. We've battled against higher goal margins before. And we know when it matters most, we know how to step up. We know how to pull our comeback. And I'm very sure that Real Madrid going into the next game, they will still be going into it with the mindset of, no, we don't have the disadvantage here. We will bring the game to your home. We will dominate you. We will pick up the win. So this even makes the second leg of the game a lot more interesting. I mean, if you know what I'm saying, it makes the next leg of the game a lot more interesting. There is so much jeopardy in this game. You can't easily say this is the person that has the advantage, this is the person that has the disadvantage. Now, the only worry someone like me would have regarding, let's say, Bayern Munich for this game is that you went into a game where you played at a very high level, you had a dominant display, and you finished with just 1 goal advantage. I don't know, for some reason, finishing with just that 1 goal advantage, it feels like, they didn't make the most out of the opportunity they have. And it feels like something that would come back to hurt them really badly next week. But that is it on this one. Everything you wanted from the game, you got it. It was entertaining. It was impressive. There were loads of tackles. Like, it was just a fun game to watch. Now, let's go over to the other game. This is going to be a very quick one. I mean, there was really nothing much happening in the game. That's the game between Sporting CP and Arsenal. You know that going into this game, I mean, when the draw came out, or when the fixture was confirmed, everyone knew that this was like the easiest game to predict in this midweek, because this is the same week where you have Bayern Munich playing Real Madrid, Liverpool playing PSG, Barcelona facing Atletico Madrid. So a game between Sporting CP and Arsenal is easily one of those that you will look at and you are like, yeah, we have a favorite here, and we have a clear favorite in Arsenal. But their last 2 games before this, it wasn't a positive one. They lost a cup final to Man City just before the international break, and immediately after the international break, they got knocked out of the FA Cup by Southampton. So going into this game, I know, despite having the advantage, a whole lot of them would have the nerves like, yo, we don't need to mess this up. This is a must-win game. Like, there is no chances to be taken here. And they stepped up. It wasn't a beautiful win. It wasn't the most entertaining game, but they still got their goal. And they got the goal at a time that is just pure chaos, pure drama. In the 90 plus, is it 90 plus 2 or 3 that I'm seeing here? But yeah, they got a very late goal in what happens to be just, let's say, the last kick of the game. So they got the goal. Kai Havertz is the goal scorer. So they'll be going into the next round of the game of the fixture with that one goal advantage. And it is also going to be a home game for Arsenal. So Arsenal fans can basically start rejoicing, because the job is half done by this late goal they got. And for the next game, they just need to make sure that they outscore their opponent. That's just how football works. Whoever scores the most comes out the winner. But in this case, they are stepping into that game with the advantage. So I said it's going to be short. How short was it? Basically around 10-11 minutes or thereabout. So this is where we are ending this for now. And then we'll go over this evening to watch the big games. The one I'm highly focused on is going to be the game between PSG and Liverpool. As a Liverpool fan, I've already said it over and over again. I don't have high expectations from Liverpool in most games this season. I've not had that high expectation, and now we are up against PSG. My expectation is very low. Nonetheless, I will show up, I will watch the game, and hopefully we'll see something magical, dramatic, something historical that will happen today. But with that, let's draw the curtain on this and see you on the next video.